Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here, and it's Tuesday, so happy Tuesday. And what we're going to do is we're going to come at you 2 times this Tuesday. I feel like that used to be somebody's advert for pizza. But what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys 2 more of our speed duel challenges. What's been going on is Zaymont. I keep saying challenge. It was a request. For 3 times builds between the Battle City box and GX box. And again, since I'm getting my lists from the original one from the ygorganization.com, they may not be 100%. Like this next one was labeled like Kaiba good stuff. Basically, it's just classic Seto Kaiba. The problem is I'm not actually going to be playing with a skill card. This is the last skill card that we used. I just did this to kind of show that it was going to be Kaiba's deck. This one wanted, it's no monster, it's a god. I think I've done enough with Obelisk. So, for the fans, for myself, and for you, Zaymont, I'd like to show you guys how to build one. And again, if you were going to use a skill card, use Digging for Gold. But I'm not going to use a skill card for this build. Because again, it's kind of like an optional rule. You don't have to have it, but like obviously makes the gameplay a lot better if you do. But this is almost a just kind of a, can we see whether or not you could play like a regular, IRL duelist in Speed Duel. And so I did it with this. Again, you guys could use Digging for Gold once per duel. You activate the skill card, banish 3 out of your discard to draw 1. It was included with the Battle City box. It is not part of any deck list, so again, because it wasn't part of this deck list, I'm not including it physically, but it's here in spirit if you guys want. But the rest of this deck is actually very simple, and again, what we're going to do is we're going to use a lot of like headliners from Kaiba. First and foremost, we're going to be using a couple copies of Dark Blade. Not only does he look like the Shredder for those of you Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fans out there, but he is one of the most solid 4 stars. Nice 1800 point stat. And again, once you get into like modifying this, he's a warrior. You got triple Rhoda up until they make an official ban list. Sorry about that. Rather than we had a ban list for a weekend at one specific event, and then everybody got confused. So again, Dark Blade, pretty good. Next up, we're going to use 2 copies of Lao Jin. And again, the only reason that one of these isn't at 3 is because I like both. And this was a challenge. That said, you could just play, I don't know, 1 copy of one of them. And then fill it out with a monster that we have later in this build. If you're trying to be as competitive as possible. But as far as mirror match, this actually beat the other strategy, so that's why we're featuring it this way instead. I'll mention it when I get there. Next card, I know you guys are all chomping at the bit to go, where's the Vorse Raider? He's here. 3 copies, of course. 1900 point 4-star. So again, just fantastic. The card that you guys can change. We are running 1 copy of the Spear Dragon. And again, what could happen is you could run like 1 of each of these and turn the other 2 into Spear Dragons. But what ends up happening with Spear Dragon, if you do not have the right mix of cards, the drawback for the 1900 point stat is actually going to cause you to lose the Spear Dragon. So when it attacks defense monster, it does piercing, and when it attacks, it is changed to defense at the end of the damage step. Now, note, it is damage step, not battle phase. Slightly different from Goblin Attack Force. Not... Well, I suppose a great many of you actually do remember that card. But it just does slightly different timing. But again, you could raise the power ceiling by increasing the amount of Spear Dragons. Just didn't work out the way we played. Running 2 Kaiser Gliders, and again, you guys can up this to a 3rd. This will be our only tribute monster for the deck. And again, this has been in the spotlight before. This card is great. It is Baby Winged Dragon of Ra. It's not really, it just looks like it. Cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster that has the same attack as it. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, notice it does not say battle or card effect. or by opponent's card effect, very important things. Target a monster card on the field, return that target to the hand. So again, when you're playing 3-time structures, chances are you're not going to be running into Jinzo until the end of the week when we do Esperoba. But even then, Jinzo's not that terrible. Monarchs, we really only get like the one Monarch right now, so like Pseudo Monarch isn't doing super fantastic. But what the Kaiser Glider can do is, again, when it battles anything larger than itself, we can go ahead and remove the threat. So again, if it's bigger, great. If it's the same, best. If it's weaker, didn't even need to bother. Moving over to our spells, we're going to use 1 copy of Mage Power. This equipped spell gives you an additional 500 to both attack and defense. For every spell and trap card that you currently have on your side of the field, face down counts, so does field spells. So in speed duels, maximum potency of 2,000, still making we stand a better card. However, this is what we had to use here. And again, this allows us to get the Kaiser Glider up, and we actually run 6 traps in this build, so we might actually see a 1,500 point bonus, which is kind of cool. Additionally, we're going to play 3 copies of Shrink. Pretty self-explanatory. Target a face-up monster on the field. The original attack becomes half. If the card has any form of multiplier on it, you will remove the multiplier, perform your half, then re-add your multiplier. So again, if somebody's equipped with Mage Power and there's 2 cards on their side of the field, because I like even numbers, that would be 1,000 points. If the card is 2,000 points, it is now 3,000. Shrink is not going to make it 1,500, it is going to make it 2,000, because we're going to have the original and then reapply the equipment. So again, it is a little goofy. I do wish it was slightly more powerful, but speed duel, guys, we don't have to worry about a lot of top tier threats. And again, Konami is being gracious and just giving us sets from now on. So this became one of the more affordable ways to play Yu-Gi-Oh! There was one other thing. Yeah, it's a quick play. Note the quick play symbol. So again, set it just like I like to do with my Book of Moon. But the big bonus here is, because it's a quick play and it does modify stats, you can wait until the actual damage step to activate this. So if I attack my opponent's monster and they have negate attack, they can choose to negate my attack. Now, again, just real quick, let's say it's Spear Dragon versus Blue Eyes. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to negate that attack because I'm 1,100 points weaker. They may not know that I have the Shrink in my hand or face down on the field, at which point they will allow the attack through, to which I could activate the Shrink. Now at this point, they could try to activate a counter to stop this, or anything else that would affect stats. Because again, it's damage step. But what cannot happen now is they cannot hit the negate attack. Conversely, if I go and I say, oh, I'm going to shrink your Blue Eyes, now I'm going to go into my battle phase and I'll attack with my Spear Dragon, you've got me dead to rights, you're going to activate the negate attack, and I've wasted my spell. So, just for those of you who may be getting into the game, quick plays are a little more powerful. Shrink, even more so, just based on the fact that it's a stat-altering card. So it will allow you to get just a little more play than you used to get. So just be aware, that's all. Now, since we are running all these big headliners, our opponent is probably going to go to defense, which is where our trap cards come in. We're going to be using 3 copies of Acid Trap Hole. Now, I've been playing this thing in the real game. Well, not for years. Decades, really. But I played it back when it was a video game promo. And what made this one so good is target a face-down defense position card on the field, flip it face up, destroy it if the defense is 2,000 points or less, or return it face down if its defense are more than 2,000. Back then, Big Shield Gardna and Tribute Monsters were the only things that got away from the Acid Trap Hole. So again, Speed Duel, embrace the cards that are kind of cringy, but like they're fun to play. And then last up, we will be using 3 copies of the trap card Magic Drain. This counter trap And what's going to happen is when the opponent activates a spell card, we'll activate this. They're given the choice to discard another spell or allow us to negate their card's effect. If they do not, again, we've countered their card. So again, if that was Book of Moon, if that was Shrink, it was Cosmic Cyclone, it was Offerings to the Doomed. Offerings to the Doomed is a really funny one. But yeah, it wouldn't matter. As long as they have another spell, they can play through. But again, when you're dealing with a four card opening hand and not a lot of draw power, not a lot of cards in a deck, it is kind of insane just how quickly you can get over your opponent. So guys, that's this. I do hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have, a couple of things. Maybe throw us a like and a comment. It helps with the algorithm. It allows more people to see the channel. And it is the simplest, cheapest thing that's going to cost you seconds, but goes miles for us as far as supporting this channel. Additionally, if you haven't already, you might subscribe. Click a notification bell, so this way you get up-to-date notifications when we're uploading. Again, most days on 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. Usually happens then. And if there's 2 videos in a day, the next one's usually at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, same. And then just share us with your friends. But have a great day, my friends. And if you guys want the second deck, come back in, like I said, a couple hours. And we will have the Umbra and Loomis 3x build. So, till then, you guys have a lovely day. Hope to see you guys later. Peace.